What is going on, world? What's up, everyone? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new Starcraft 2 video. This one features two of the best in the world with the Zerg pieces, two of the best Starcraft 2 players currently playing in the WCS. And we have spawning here in the top right hand corner of Lost and Found LE, playing with the red Zerg pieces. He's currently on match point, and he's also known as the best player on the planet and wants to keep everyone talking about the legacy that is Serral. And his opponent spawning in the cross position, playing with the blue Zerg pieces. He won Blizzcon 2017. He wants to get this series back in his favor. His name is Rogue. So guys and girls, the big question that you get coming into this game, and of course a game of this magnitude because this was played, of course, at BlizzCon, the global finals of StarCraft 2, the biggest tournament of the year. This is the semifinals of the global finals at BlizzCon between two of the best Zerg players in the world currently playing. And, you know, Rogue going down 2-1. If you're Rogue and you're going up against the so-called best player currently on the planet, that is Serral, what would you do in this situation? Would you play the macro-focused game, or would you go for a little bit of some cheese? Me, myself, if I were in Rogue shoes, most likely I would probably go for a very long, drawn-out macro-focused game and just give it your all and play the game straight up because you know, of really what is on the line here, right? You're on match point against your opponent, and obviously when you're cheesing or doing anything along those lines, it seems like your opponent is just really good at defense. So just play, you know, the macro-focused game, and that's what I think Rogue is so good at with defense, and of course on his offense is very good as well with the aggression. But we're about to find out very, very soon. Looks like both players decided to go for the hatch gas pool opener. Very similar as far as the production tabs go. We can see that both players are going ahead and getting that Zergling speed upgrade going. And it does look like Rogue is going to be taking his third base very soon. And the same can be said for Serral. So it does look like both players are going to be getting that, as I said, you know, it looks like they're at least setting ourselves up for somewhat of a macro-focused game here between these two players. Looks like a Baneling Nest is going to be coming out of Rogue, so we're going to see the tech of choice there for him. Looks like Serral, though, on the opposite side, seems to be just droning up mainly. I mean, this guy is, you know, he drones up very heavily, wants to get fully saturated on three of those bases. He is also going to go ahead and get his Baneling Nest out and running as well. So, as I said, I mean, these production tabs are so similar. It's unbelievable at this point. These players, you know, of course they've seen each other's, you know, work. They know what each other tends to do in games of ZvZ. And, you know, when it comes to a series of ZvZ, it is a series of mind games. It's all about what does your opponent do, and then when your opponent does that, how do you respond to it, and how do you transition out of or into different unit compositions. So looks like the evolution chamber is going to be coming up for both players as well. Very, very I mean, very similar builds on both sides of the map, as we can see. Like very you know, this is something that, you know, definitely does not surprise me at the highest level of play. We are going to go ahead though, and we're going to get a quick layer out of Serral. And it looks like we're going to get +1 out of, for ground-based units out of Rogue, and the same can be said for Serral at this time as well. He is going to go for the Roach Warren, so we are starting to see what Serral is planning on doing here based on what he has scouted so far. And we know that Serral loves scouting his opponent as frequently as possible, trying to get any kind of information that he can get out of his opponent. The layer is going to be started here for Rogue, and then, of course, once again, I mean, look at how similar these production tabs are. It's quite impressive. But Both players are getting those Roach Warrens, and then it does look like Serral's going to go ahead and get the Overlord speed going here. I like that decision a lot. It's one of my, actually one of my personal favorite Zerg upgrades. Just being able to have the fast Overlord speed and just be able to fly your Overlords around and just see exactly what your opponent is doing, because information is everything when it comes down to in StarCraft 2, especially at the highest level of play. Glau Reconstitution is going to be started here for Serral, and it looks like the Overlord speed is also going to be coming up here for Rogue. Very interesting choices here by both players. They're both playing a very similar build order. Serral is going to go for that 4th base, and the same can be said now for Rogue. Wow. I like it. I love it, actually, to be honest with you guys. I am loving what I am seeing so far. We are setting ourselves up, guys, for a macro-focused game. Another Evolution Chamber up, coming here for Serral. Looks like he's trying to hide this, this Evolution Chamber maybe a little bit. But nonetheless, there are going to be... Okay, Dropper Lords coming in for Serral, and Dropper Lords coming in for Rogue. Wow. This is getting interesting very quickly, guys, and I'm liking this a lot. We're going to be setting ourselves up for a very interesting game here, because these two players are almost on top of each other as far as knowing exactly what each other is doing. Rogue now seeing what Serral's doing. I don't know if Serral has not seen this quite yet, that there is a Dropper Lord coming in here. I don't know if this is meant to deal substantial amounts of damage, but this is something that you definitely have to keep your eyes, your eyes on. It does look like Serral is going to try to run into this 4th base location, see if he can get any kind of damage done. Not a whole lot done, at least at this part in the game. Now, we're going to have to keep an eye on this Dropper Lord up here, and it does look like Serral is going to just... Oh, looks like he's going to just miss this Dropper Lord, but this Overlord is gonna catch it very, very quickly. So I don't know if the dropper, these, the Overlord drops we're really going to get much like, as far as, much value out of them. But it does look like Rogue is starting to move across the map here. Both players are getting those Hydra Dens. Both players getting +2 as far as, their, ground-based unit upgrades go. And then, looks like Rogue is getting Burrow as well. I like that decision a lot. So +1, or +2 coming out of Rogue here. But generally speaking, I mean, these guys are giving each other so much respect right now. I absolutely love it. Just the amount of respect coming out of both these players is really neat to see, because when you got two of the best players with the specific race, the Zerg, I mean, these are you don't get much better than these two players, guys. Serral is currently maxed out, and Rogue is about to be maxed out. So these guys are going to clash here very, very soon as we pass the 8.5-minute mark in the game so far. Now, Lurker Den is going to be coming up here for Rogue. Love that decision. Infestation Pit's going to be coming up as well. So we're going to be seeing some, possibly some higher tier Hive-based units coming out here for Rogue. Now, Serral, he is getting Burrow right now. He's getting that +2 upgrades as well. So the question is who's going to really have the upgrade advantage here, at least at this stage in the game? I think Rogue may have it just a little bit, but there's a lot of units here, here by Serral. So it does look like Rogue is going to back off at this point. It does look like the Hydra upgrade is going to be started, and the Hive is going to be started here for Rogue here. So those higher tier units, Macro Hatchery is also in the main base. I do like the position Rogue is in right now, but at the same time, Serral is getting his own Lurker Den, and Serral's also getting his own lair, or Hive, I'm sorry. So, very interesting. you know, how these players are playing each other. It's like they know exactly what the other is going to do here. It's quite interesting. So here we go. The fifth base location is going to be coming up here for Serral. The same can be said for Rogue. Wow, these guys are giving each other so much respect here. Unreal. I am absolutely loving it, though. Here we go. Small unit, a small amount of units here for Rogue, and it does look like those Biles beautifully hit that that Overlord, or Dropper Lord, and here we go. Serral is going to try to jump on this army here, and he's absolutely doing so. There's a couple of lurkers that are going to start burrowing here, but it does look like Serral is just committing to this push here. Beautifully done, getting a lot of value, and it does look like he is going to try to pounce on this 5th base location of Rogue here, as he's also going after some of these other units in the natural base expansion. So Serral is starting to move into a you know, a different kind of mode here. He is going after his opponent at this point, and +3 is going to be started here by both of our opponents here. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Like I said, the amount of skill these guys have, and it looks like Serral might catch some of these roaches off balance here, burrowed, and he is going to start chasing them. It does look like these lurkers are going to try to snipe all of these units here and force them into a trap. Oh, this is absolutely textbook play by our Zerg player in red here. Beautifully played here. These lurkers are going to make such short work of these roaches, absolutely decimating every single one of them, or at least most of them. Maybe a few of them got away. Now, here we go. I like this. The decision here to get the Nydus worm out is a beautiful decision. Now, the question is Serral going to know about this soon enough? And it does look like those lurkers are going to be going in straight away into the main base location. And how is Serral's defense going to be against this? This is going to be a real test here. These lurkers are in such a good position, doing so much damage. But Serral somehow, some way, is able to hold on, at least right now. There are more lurkers that are coming up here. And I think the longer that this may very well go on, Rogue is trying so hard here to get the value he needs, but these lurkers are in a great position. The slow push here for Serral. Oh my god, beautifully done here by Serral, going right after that Nydus worm now, and just like that, Serral has held on, at least at this point in the game here, and I think I think we can all agree he has taken a lead here, and I think at this point, this army is starting to look a little bit scary here of Serral. Now, Rogue is not out of this thing just yet, but the amount of lurkers, we got Vipers coming out now. This is going to be, you know, a Hydra, Roach, and Lurker composition. There's even a couple of Zerglings here and there. This could be, you know, as long as Rogue is very careful about how he does this or plays this out, he's got to be very careful. Now, interestingly enough, it does look like there is a lair coming up here for Serral. So I'm wondering if he's worried that he's going to lose his main base hive, possibly. I'm not really sure the decision making on that one. By Serral. But listen, guys, he's the best player on the planet for a reason. He is trying to hit from multiple angles right now, and just like that, here we go. Rogue is playing this very, very smart. He is keeping his opponent at home, but Serral is just able, at least at this point, to really clean up pretty much all the aggression that is coming up here. Beautifully played here once again by Serral. Serral's playing that textbook kind of Zerg style here, just absolutely overwhelming his opponent as we go. Now, there are still a lot of lurkers out here, for Rogue, but the longer this game goes, I'm looking at the bank of Serral versus the bank of Rogue, and Serral has such a huge bank. He has so many minerals as well as gas. And once again, here we go. The Nydus worm is about to pop out here in the main base. And there are a bunch of roaches now that are going to start coming out, or going to start moving, possibly doing, you know, trying to be a little bit of a hit squad here. Now, what this is doing is this is helping Rogue out because it's buying him so much time to build up that economy and kind of get caught up to Serral here, and that's exactly what's going on. Serral is going to go ahead and move on to another base, which is going to be his, that's going to be his 6th base at this point in the game. And before you know it here, this is gonna get interesting. We all know that it's gonna get very interesting very, very shortly. Serral has kind of split up his army into a few different, you know, unit compositions. I think Serral is just a little bit, you know, being very cautious. You know, doesn't want to overextend at this point. Once again, Rogue is being such a nuisance with these Nydus worms. He is absolutely keeping Serral on his toes at this point. And here we go. There could be a fight here very, very soon. Oh, the beautiful abducts there, getting those lurkers beautifully done there by Serral. Those abducts helped out so much. We get in some of those lurkers. And here we go. I think now with another Nydus worm that's going to be coming up here, Rogue has had enough. He wants to start moving into that 6th base and start trying to do as much damage as he possibly can. Looks like Serral may very well let this one go at this point. Does look like that's going to be the case. And he is going to let that base go at this point. And once again, here we go. More and more. The Rogue is trying so hard with all of these Nydus worms. I mean, these lurkers are just, you know, in the main base location. They're not doing substantial damage, but they are doing damage nonetheless here. And it is such a nuisance for Serral to have to really deal with this right now, guys. And once again, here we go. It does look like that 6th base is trying to go down here for Rogue. Serral doesn't seem like he wants to allow this to go down, but I don't know if he's going to be able to really stop it. Serral is playing this very passively, this game. You know, both players really are kind of just don't want to overextend. I really like what Rogue is doing, though. He is really keeping the aggression on. The amount of Nydus worms going down in the main base is absolutely huge. It's absolutely huge. Now, the Nydus worm's going to come in, but there is a bunch of roaches that are here just waiting to take out that Nydus worm. So, beautifully played once again here by Serral. I mean, Serral has proven just how good he really is, and it does look like he may very well start moving into this 6th base location. He does not want to see this go down. Blinding Clouds is going down here for some of these units. Beautiful abducts there by both these players, and it looks like, oh, the abducts by both players. Oh my god, and those Vipers go down just like that. Beautifully done there by Serral. The abducts were going down by both players, and I gotta say, the abducts by Serral have been just absolutely on point at this point in the matchup. Absolutely beautifully done here by as we are approaching the 20-minute mark in this game, guys. Getting into the late game, both players don't know exactly what they want to do as of yet, and I mean, you know, it looks like Serral's had to split up his army into multiple different directions, catching a couple of these lurkers off guard here. But these lurkers and these drops are so huge for Rogue. He is keeping his opponent at home here, or at least some of the army at home. Now, interestingly enough, there is another base going down here for Serral, as well as a, once again, another Nydus worm is going to be coming in here for Rogue. He is trying to keep his opponent on his toes, trying to see if there's any angles that he can get at this point, which there really isn't much. There's not many that you're going to be able to get here against Serral. But Rogue is really trying here. He is trying. He's keeping Serral's army split up, which is really what, you know, essentially what Serral, or what you need to do to beat someone of you know, the stature of Serral. So there is basically nothing in that Nydus worm whatsoever. It's pretty much just a diversion at this point. But these, you know, a lot of these run-bys with the roaches are doing a lot of value as well. And a couple of these lurkers are trying to do some damage to this base down here in the bottom right-hand corner. And Serral is kind of just slowly trying to figure out what he needs to do here, because Rogue is everywhere. He is absolutely everywhere so far in this game. And I mean, we are past the, you know, I mean, we're getting into the late game of this game, and it is, you know, Rogue is really giving Serral, you know, some issues here, just kind of being a nuisance with all these, you know, the Nydus worms and the run-bys, and just like that, here we go. Rogue is really just pushing his opponent to the brink here, trying to do whatever he can to get the win here. I think Serral may very well try to jump on this army when he gets the chance, and all these abducts are going to be coming in here. Blinding Clouds going down as well, and Serral is trying to do his best here to kind of rally the troops as Rogue is moving in with a relatively small army, and at the same time Serral's trying to hit from multiple angles here. But I've got to say, I mean, this is pretty evenly matched, and those beautiful abducts once again by Serral, getting a couple more of those Vipers, and that is absolutely critical play there. Getting that base down here in the bottom right hand corner is really big as well for Rogue. Serral is going to need to make some decisions here very, very shortly as far as what he wants to do, because Rogue is starting to slowly take over here and really take out a lot of Serral's mining bases. So another hive is going down. I am not sure the decision making. Serral has going on 3 hives. So I have no idea the decision making here. The abducts have been absolutely brilliant though by Serral so far. And here we go. There are going to be some lurkers up here at another one of Serral's expansions, but the Blinding Clouds are beautiful. And here we go. There's going to be more Blinding Clouds coming in here, and it does look like Serral will be able to hold on to this base a little bit longer as we are continuously moving into an interesting direction in this game here. Now, here we go. Rogue is trying to keep the top right-hand corner of mining this base, and it does not look like that is going to be able to hold for very long. This base does end up going down, and now both players once again are trading blows here. They are just absolutely trading blows. I would have to say I've really liked what Rogue has done in this game so far. The question is it enough? Is it enough damage? Serral is just, I mean, he is kind of all over the place. He's got a lot of units here, and at the same time, you got Rogue, okay, you know, trying to do a little bit, some drops. He's trying to, you know, do whatever he can to kind of keep Serral at home and really on his toes. And just like that, very interestingly enough, Serral decides to try to take this top right-hand base here, and that was being mined by Rogue. But very soon, I mean, soon enough, we are going to see these two players are going to have to clash. And these armies are going to have to clash. And I got to say, guys, Serral's army is pretty scary. And with those abducts, this army has been, you know, is very menacing for someone to have to deal with. Here we go. There are going to be some beautiful abducts there by Rogue here, but I think there's just a little bit too much of Serral's army here. And Serral looks like he's going to back off once again. He's going to play this thing very, very smart. He does not want to overextend into his opponent's territory, or, you know, just overextend where, you know, it ends up, you know, really hurting him in the long run here. So here we go. Oh, catching these lurkers off guard. Absolutely massive pickup there for Serral. Beautifully done. And just like that, Serral has kind of cleaned up all of the, you know, everything that he needs to, at least at this point. But, you know, Rogue is still in this thing. I mean, make no mistake here, guys. Rogue is not out of this game just yet. You know, he's got a big bank as well. The amount of gas that Serral has right now is just ludicrous right now. He has a lot of gas, so he can essentially lose his army and kind of replenish that army and get like a, you know, a lot more, you know, units relatively quickly. So Serral does tend to play, you know, sometimes almost a too passive of a game against his opponents, but you know, it's you know, proven to be very successful for him. And here we go. We are going to see a bunch of Hydras going after that base, and they do get it. And just like that, Serral is slowly just trying to bleed his opponent dry here. Once again, getting the kill there. Absolutely brilliant play here by Serral. This army is here going up against, you know, the masses that is Serral's army. Serral's getting all those abducts. Blinding Cloud, beautifully done there by Serral. And I just think slowly but surely, he is just bleeding his opponent dry. And these lurkers are going to try to get into position to start sniping a bunch of these units. And here comes Serral trying to snipe a bunch of them as well, getting the beautiful abducts once again. Serral is just absolutely slowly tearing his opponent apart. Now, at the same time, there is multiple pushes across the map here by Rogue. He is trying so hard to hold on here and doing it brilliantly so. Guys, these are two of the best StarCraft 2 Zerg players in the world, if not the best in the world. And I really don't think there's any question at this point, going at it toe-to-toe in a game 4 of a best-of-5 series. And I gotta say, man, it has been so close so much of this series between these two players. They have just gone back and forth, back and forth. Serral, though, has taken a significant lead here as far as the supply counts are concerned. He has certainly taken a lead here in this game. But I will say, though, you know, he's had to split up his army, which I really have not liked for Serral, though, at this you know, at this point in the game. The abducts are coming in for some of these Hydras, getting a few kills here and there. But all that said and done, there's going to be a hit squad of some more Hydras. But the longer this game goes, I don't know how much longer Rogue can really hold on here. The question is this Serral giving him too much time to kind of get back into the game? Is the big question, I think. Rogue is still in this thing. He is trying very hard to kind of just hold his ground here against Serral, who is just overwhelming his army in multiple phases of this game. And it looks like Rogue might win this engagement right here. This might be a really big engagement here for Rogue. He's going to pounce on this base once again and does so in really good fashion. And just like that, both players are really trading blows at this point. They really are. And there's more and more Zerglings that are starting to come out here, trying to get as much value as possible. They're going to go right after that hive in the main base. But there's still a pretty big, a lot of units here for Serral. And on top of all of that, he's also got a huge bank versus Rogue's not such a big bank. I mean, honestly, like, Rogue has a bank, but it's not nearly that of what Serral has. So he's got to be very careful with these engagements. Same thing can be said for Serral, though. He's got to be really careful that he doesn't lose a bunch of these units for free and then ends up, you know, slowly losing the game as a whole. So blinding clouds do go down here, and it does look like those Hydras are going to jump on all of these units here for Rogue. Blinding clouds do go down once again, really hurting this army. And I think, guys, that Serral is going to start moving in here to some of these other, you know, these other mining bases, trying to slowly bleed his opponent dry, which is what Serral does so very well against his opponents. And just like that, here we go. He is going to go after this base that has absolutely no defense whatsoever, and is going to just completely overwhelm that base. Beautifully done there by Serral. And once again, here we go. Serral's going to try to get the surround on all of these units here. I think he is going to get the surround here. Oh my god, beautifully played, and GG is called, and Serral wins this series against his opponent in absolutely dominant fashion. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Serral and Rogue, and if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace.